Hello adventurers and welcome back to Helping with Heroquest. This is part 5. Our previous outings took us through painting the barbarian, the wizard, the dwarf, the elf, and finally we're moving on to something a little bit bigger. Almost all of the villains in the first light set are two-dimensional cardstock, which makes this my perfect travel hero quest. But the real big bad of it all, the dragon, is ready to be painted, and I'm going to walk you through that today. We're going to start with a very basic colour scheme that everybody can do, and it is inspired by Safi Jiva from Monster Hunter. For those of us who have children who are passing on our passion to them, they will no doubt choose the dragon to paint. So this guide is going to have children in mind. I'm going to be walking you all through it using a one base coat method and then elevating it to Tabletop Plus. So if you're a beginner painter or you're looking to elevate your game, this guide should help you. So for this, we're going to be taking the Safi Jiva inspiration, working from purple through the reds, bringing in some nice colours, and it is going to be approachable to everyone. If you haven't watched the previous ones of the series, please do make sure you click on the subscribe button, go back, watch those before you get to this. There's a lot of vital information that will really help you with beginner's painting. So let's get on with it. It's best practice to prime all your miniatures, and I use a rattle can. This here is from Colourforge and this is their purple, but you can cover it all in Von Evil purple over a traditional black undercoat if you please. Using a well-pointed size 1 brush, we're going to be painting the red over all the scales. The trick here is to only do the top 3/4. We want to leave a strong rim of purple in each one of the recesses. This shows the difference between the kind of skin layer and the armoured hide of the dragon. This technique going forward is going to be replicated 2 more times, creating more definition and sharpness in the scales. This is a very simple technique that's going to add a lot of depth really quickly, and children can do it. Each of your brush strokes leaving a sharp line effect is going to make it look like a traditional scale, layers of built up hardened hide. With this layer, you're going to be covering all of the scaled segments, as well as the wings and the boning within the wings, the finger of the wings. So it turns out they are called fingers of the wing. I really hope nobody goes through my computer history knowing I'm dyslexic and seeing finger wing. Anywho, don't forget to do the inside and the outside of the wings as well. If you followed that technique correctly, it should start to look something like this. You can see the individual strokes and you can see all the purple in the recesses. If you do need to top up the purple, you can use your Von Evil purple to do so. But don't worry, we will be coming back to this anyway, so don't panic. Stepping away from the scales, it's time for a Maddie Peddy, and we're going to do that with Nobel Steed Brown. We're going to go around all the claws, making sure we get right into the nail bed. That's on the hands, the feet, and the thumbs of the wings. Something else I learned from bats. And this is the perfect time to put a base coat down on those horns using the same colour. Warning you again, because even though I've done this for years, I've still forgotten to do the front and back of this model. So do make sure you're constantly giving it a spin. Also worth checking it from the top as well. Also take a moment to pick out the teeth as well. We want him looking really menacing. This dragon was born to slay adventurers, so we're going to give it a little bit more of a manicure, and we're going to do that with Dragon Fang. Perfectly named. The horns are going to be painted a lot like the scales. We're going to follow the banding, and we're going to use our highlight, leaving a recess in each of the smaller areas. For PVC 1-part miniatures, these models are pretty damn good. You don't normally get details like this, so don't waste them. It's time to take a moment and write down all your favourite swear words as we are about to paint the eye. This one's a bit easier than most as the model is quite large and there's a lot of recess around the eye, so honestly don't stress too much. Using this yellow, we're going to do a couple of layers just to build it up properly, giving us that big evil eye. Going from left to right, or even right to left, will give you a really nice focus before doing a vertical line in black for the pupil. Now, if it does look a little bit squiffy, feel free to top it up and repaint it, or you can just leave the eye yellow. You don't have to stress about these things, they're your models. Adding a little flair and menace to this miniature, Sanguine Scarlet is going to make those scales stand out. The centre of the spine is the most raised area, so that needs to be the lightest, so focus on that. We're going to be using the exact same technique as we did before, but rather than covering 3/4 of the scale, we're now going to cover half the scale. We're also going to be primarily focusing brightness on the top and fading out as we go to the edges. Again, the little short strokes, thinly done, is really doing a lot of the heavy lifting, and all I'm doing is just giving it a little feathered tickle. Like a Space Marine player's girlfriend, inflation's pretty common in this hobby. People like to tell you how big and grandiose and amazing these techniques are, but so many of them are just easy to do at a small level for a big result. So please, I beg of you, you don't even have to listen to me, but don't listen to these influencers that tell you everything is exceptionally hard and they're God's gift to painting. Don't forget, many of these pictures you're seeing on Instagram are digitally altered, filters, and people are even using AI to make posts of painted minis now. Sad little plebs. Anywho, back to the teeth, claws, horns, and the thumbs. We're going to be going back with Skeleton Legion and making them look extra sharp. We're going to be focusing on the top edges where the light hits, and doing just enough of the tip that we still see the Dragon Fang and the Nobel Steed brown before that in the deepest parts of the nail bed. Same holds true with the teeth and the banding in the horns, so don't forget to do that very delicately. Once you're happy with the brightness of your claws, you can move on to Demon Red and bring up the brightness of the scales. The simplicity of this model, and with basically all dragons, is using the same techniques of feathering in your layers, nice delicate brush strokes that are cleanly defined, and focusing on the apexes of each region. You can build this model up really quickly. I actually painted this whole thing in under an hour. While I chose to base this model off a red dragon due to some peer pressure by people a third of my age, it is actually easily possible to make this a black dragon, green dragon, pretty much whatever you want. All you need to do is pick a triad of your fancy. If you want to do a blisteringly pink model, go ahead, you do you, boo. In fact, Tooth Thin Coat has some of the best pinks on the market. If you want to push into the yellows, I wish you luck. I don't enjoy painting yellow. If you are happy with your scales, we're going to move on to the webbing, but this is a great opportunity to top up any little bleed into the recesses with your purple triad. Using Von Evil Purple, you can top up those recesses if you need, but we are going to base coat the wing webbing with it. Now, something to remember about mini painting is your primer paint, certainly the rattle cans, do not match the color palette of your traditional water-based acrylics. So even though they both look purple, I am going to reapply the Von Evil Purple on these major areas. It's going to bring everything back into that triad, into the transition we're going to create, and it's going to make everything look a lot smoother. It's very easy to miss the flaps on top of the wing between the elbow joint. So again, front and back, check those are done. This next bit is a little bit trust the progress. It will look better later, I promise. We're going to use Spectral Purple to pick out the ribbed areas in the webbing of the wing. Nice, easy, definitive strokes. Just take your time and it will be easy enough. Any mistakes, go back a step to the Von Evil Purple and pick them out. If you really want to do this quickly, you can just go swish, 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 and then take the Von Evil Purple and just correct the mistakes. Honestly, it's probably quicker. For those pointing out how outrageously bright this looks now unblended, let me show you the palette. We're going to mix it down with some water. This is the Von Evil Purple. What it's going to do is in the darkest areas, it's going to be higher concentrate than on the brighter, more surfaced areas where you've painted the ribbing. And because of that, it's going to bring them both to a more unified shade in the middle of the two. Is this the best way of painting it? No. You can spend a lot more time intricately blending, going through the triad, making it a 3 system into a 5 system by mixing number 1, 2, and 3, etc., creating a really nice color shaded gradient. However, that is going to take hours. I've got hundreds of HeroQuest models, and I really want this to remain beginner friendly. Anybody who wants to do that probably already knows how to do that and isn't watching this video. So for the benefit of today, I'm teaching you how to do it quickly and easily. If you like what you've done, top up any mistakes with whatever red or color you've touched, and then paint the base black. It's as easy as that. Remember, these are your models, do them your way. If you want to take the shortcut, take the shortcut. Once that's fully dried, I do recommend that you give them a coat of sealant. I used Rust-Oleum's matte varnish under my really bright painting lights. It does look glossy, but I assure you it's nowhere near as bad as that. And it was very durable in my traveling. I took this to Cardiff, I played it in a hotel room with multiple of my friends, and we had a great time. Much like the Barbarian here, our party did get wiped out in Mission 2. And with the Adventurers and the Dragon complete, we have finished the First Light box set. This guide will work with the core HeroQuest set as well, but if you do want more content from me, we will be tackling Wizards of Morcar coming up in the first week of March. We're also going to be spinning by some dungeons and lasers, and we're going to be building Castle Strahd. So, you know, that's going to be pretty cool. Great time to subscribe. Thank you to everyone who's given me even a minute of your time. I really do appreciate this. To my Patreons, you really are the best. You support me through each and every video, each and every project, each and every stream. And without you, none of this is possible. Excelsior, adventurers.